Hey there, YouTube, and so there's some interesting news from the election last night. Not talking about who got elected. I think that one was pretty widely predicted by polling for long enough that it wasn't a surprise to anybody. Some people may not like it, but it's not a surprise. But what got approved or voted in, or wherever you want to call what people do with ballot measures. Essentially what I'm talking about is marijuana is essentially kind of almost sort of going to be legal in 2 states, as well as 3 more approving it for medical use. This is interesting, mainly on the kind of see what happens point of view, because the federal government has said multiple times they view it as illegal, whether it's for medical use or whatever. So if they crack down on California like they do for medical marijuana, what are they going to do to Colorado and Washington for just legalizing it? But also because it could influence decisions elsewhere too, which would be kind of interesting. I mean, it's how it started with the medical movement. Was first couple of states to legalize it, it worked out, there were no problems. People were like, wow, society hasn't collapsed. So they went ahead, and now more and more states are slowly kind of getting on board with the whole medical marijuana thing, which I am greatly in support of, because I know several people who benefit from it, and it does have its uses. I mean, it's not a cure for anything, but it can definitely help you manage the symptoms, and it could help even with certain illnesses, as far as not even just managing, but improving the quality of life, improving the development, and various other things. So that's been great as far as it's moved along. I mean, Canada's been kind of regressing almost with our current Conservative government, but it's going in the right direction. Now, if the legalization works out without society magically collapsing in Colorado and Washington, that could lead to other states and possibly local countries, cough Canada, to evaluate that possibility as well. And I'm not supporting that necessarily because it's perfect. I mean, sure, there could be better uses of government time, but it's also a giant drain on the law system, like on the criminal justice system. It's a huge potential source of profit for governments that are sorely in need of money. I mean, the LCBO in Ontario is a huge profitable enterprise. And so if they did the same thing with marijuana, which is arguably just as popular, if it were legal. I mean, a lot of people are afraid of legal ramifications, but that could be a huge source of money. So I'm interested in seeing what happens as far as this whole situation, purely because I want to see how it will influence other decisions, whether it goes over well, whether it's run down, whether it works, whether it doesn't, and how that affects other countries and states and various areas, and how actually the American government on federal level reacts to this. Because so far they haven't been too approving of it, but perhaps if states start fighting back, it may end up working out. I mean, out of the 4 states so far that I'm aware of that have tried to legalize it, 2 have. Oregon also voted yesterday and chose not to, but by a very small margin. And in the previous election, California's decision not to legalize was by a very, very small margin. So it's showing increased support as well in the populace as far as the fact that it might not be so bad, which I agree with. I mean, I deal with people who are both drunk or high on many occasions, and to be honest, people who have been smoking are a lot of times more bearable than the people who've been drinking. That goes for everybody. I think we're well aware of anybody who's done it is also well aware of how they are in both situations. So if one can be legal, why not both? Prohibition didn't work for alcohol, so let's give it a try and see if we can legalize marijuana and maybe make some money for the government. See how it works, see how it goes. But anyways, this was AutoVlog number 4. I missed last night's update because, well, I just fell asleep. I'm sure everybody was devastated by that, all probably 5 of you. However, anyways, like, subscribe, share it with people if you find this interesting. I do. I find it very interesting. So, do what you wish. Have fun. And remember that before you get too excited, the laws won't take effect right away. So don't go, standing around in public in Colorado and not expecting anything to happen, because it still could. But just so you know, it will be changing eventually, it seems. Alright, and have a great day.